Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me here for the channel's very first video. My name is John Wayna and this is Street City Studio. Street City Studio is my office, my equipment, my tools, and this channel. But my name's John and it's great to be here today. Thanks again for joining me. A bit about myself. I love to sketch, draw, paint, color, sculpt, the works. I don't always like the word artist. I would like to think of myself more as a student, constantly learning and practicing. Maybe one day I'll get more comfortable with the word artist. Hopefully, some of you can relate. More recently, I've been learning how to sculpt in Blender as opposed to with real clay. I have to admit, it's been slow going, but I love it. I can just get lost playing around with it. There's definitely a lot to learn, and it can be intimidating at first, but as with anything, a little hard work and focus can go a long way. Here in Blender, I'm working on a head sculpt today. Obviously, the Joker. Some of my earliest inspirations were from cartoons, comics, action movies, sci-fi, sword and sorcery, superheroes, crime drama, horror movies. Very much a child of the 80s and the 90s. I started trying at a young age to draw my favorite characters and even trying to rework action figures into different characters. As an adult, I still love lots of characters. I draw lots of characters and I still collect and customize my action figures, just at a slightly higher level these days. I was inspired by franchises like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, the rotoscoping techniques used on cartoons like Masters of the Universe. I was big on artists like Frank Frazetta, Bob Ross. Really liked Alan Moore, Alex Ross. Um, so many. I could probably make videos just naming the artists, but uh, I was really inspired by video games from a young age. Lots of things that inspired me just to think in a fantasy sense, in a fantastical sense, I guess. I think a lot of what I do comes from necessity more than skill or ability that I had before I started a project. I'll start something and realize I have to achieve something that I don't necessarily know how or have the ability to automatically achieve. So, sculpting is a great example. I didn't have a lot of interest in sculpting growing up, but when it came to customizing my toys and making things like that, it became necessary. So I started studying it and practicing it. And even now with Blender, I'm looking at 3D modeling for 3D printing. And it becomes necessity to learn how. And that's where we're at now with it. Anyway, back here in Blender, I really have to admit, I'm very much at a beginner level. I still watching videos and learning as I go. Are any of you out there still learning Blender too? Let me know about it in the comments. I'd love to know where you're at with it. Well, I really do want to say thanks again for joining me here at Street City Studio, and until next time, you all take care.